Welcome to the channel, Old Valuable Chiller, where we dive deep into the history, value, and secrets of coins from the United States. Today, we're focusing on a coin that many people overlook but collectors know has great historical value, the 1976 1-cent coin from the United States, also known as the Lincoln penny. If you're into coin collecting, numismatics, or just interested in the history and potential value of old US coins, make sure to stick around until the end of the video, because we'll be covering everything, from composition and mint marks to errors and values. Let's start with the basics. The 1976 1-cent coin is part of the iconic Lincoln cent series that began in 1909. The design on the obverse features President Abraham Lincoln, a design by Victor David Brenner that's been used for decades. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that replaced the wheat ears in 1959 and remained in use until 2008. The year 1976 was significant for the United States, as it marked the bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Although the Lincoln cent itself wasn't redesigned for the bicentennial, the coins from this year are still sought after due to their historical relevance. The 1976 penny was minted in three main locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If your coin has no mint mark under the date, it was minted in Philadelphia. If it has a small D mint mark, it was minted in Denver. And if it has an S mint mark, that indicates it was minted in San Francisco, typically as a proof coin. Proof coins are struck with special dies and are meant for collectors. These are usually found in sets and have a mirror-like finish. In terms of composition, the 1976 1-cent coin is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. That's right, these older Lincoln cents are copper-rich, unlike modern ones which are primarily zinc with a copper coating. This means even the metal value of the coin can be slightly more than 1 cent, especially when copper prices are high. However, melting down pennies for their copper is illegal in the United States, so while it's interesting from a theoretical standpoint, it's not something you can profit from legally. Now, let's talk about mintage numbers. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 4.6 billion 1976 pennies, while the Denver Mint produced over 4.2 billion. The San Francisco Mint produced more than 4 million proof coins. That's a lot of pennies. So you may be wondering, if there are billions out there, why should anyone care about a 1976 penny? Well, the answer lies in condition, rarity of specific variations, and mint errors. Condition is one of the most important factors when determining the value of a coin. A circulated 1976 penny in average condition is generally worth only face value, 1 cent. But if you find one in uncirculated condition, especially graded by a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC, the value can be much higher. For example, a 1976 D Lincoln cent graded MS67 red has sold for over $1,000 in auction. That's right, some high-grade copper coins from this era can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars if they're nearly perfect. But condition isn't the only thing that drives value. Errors and varieties can make a massive difference. Let's explore some known and possible error coins from 1976. One common type of error to look out for is the double die. In a double die error, elements of the design, such as the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile, appear doubled. If you come across a 1976 penny with visible doubling, especially on the date or the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," you may have a valuable coin. Always use a magnifying glass or microscope to check for doubling. Another error to be aware of is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during striking and part of the design is missing or pushed to one side. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable it usually is, especially if the date is still fully visible. You might also find die cracks, cuds, or clipped planches. These mint errors are generally less valuable than double dies, but still interesting and collectible. A small die crack may only add a few dollars to a coin's value, while a dramatic cud or clipped planchet can fetch $10, $20, or even more depending on its severity and overall appeal. Let's not forget about the proof coins. The 1976 S-proof penny was struck in San Francisco and intended for collectors. These coins were not meant for circulation and typically have a mirror-like background with frosted design features. While millions were made, their value can still range from a few dollars up to $50 or more if in perfect condition. If you find one of these in a proof set or in pristine condition, it's worth holding on to. Now, you may be wondering, how do I tell if my coin is valuable? First, examine its condition. Is it worn, scratched, or discolored? If so, it's likely only worth face value or maybe a few cents as a copper bullion piece. But if the coin looks almost brand new, with no signs of wear, and retains a shiny red copper luster, it could be uncirculated, and potentially worth sending in for grading. Coins that are graded MS65 or higher can be worth significant money, especially those with red designation. Next, check for errors. Use magnification to examine the details. Look closely at the date, the words, and Lincoln's profile. Any irregularities could mean you have something special. If you believe you have an error coin, take high-resolution pictures and compare it with known varieties listed on trusted numismatic websites or forums. So, should you save every 1976 penny you come across? If you're serious about coin collecting or just want to make a little money from something often overlooked, it's definitely worth setting aside any 1976 pennies you find, especially ones that are bright, clean, and have strong details. Sorting through rolls of pennies from the bank can be a fun and affordable way to search for hidden treasures. Another tip: store your coins properly. Exposure to air, moisture, or skin oils can damage copper coins over time. Use coin flips, holders, or albums to preserve your collection. And never clean your coins, as that can lower their value significantly in the eyes of collectors and grading services. For investors, the copper content in older pennies makes them an interesting hedge against inflation, though again, you can't legally melt them down. For historians, the coin is a tangible piece of America's bicentennial era. For collectors, the 1976 penny offers affordable entry into the world of numismatics, with the potential for valuable finds. As we wrap up this deep dive into the 1976 United States 1-cent coin, remember that the true value of any coin lies in a mix of its rarity, condition, historical significance, and demand. Whether you're just starting your collection or already deep into coin hunting, the 1976 penny is definitely worth your attention.